Welcome. Today, we're exploring Good to Great by Jim Collins, a business classic that dives into what makes companies go from being good to becoming truly great. Based on a 5-year research project, Collins and his team uncover the core principles that separate the best from the rest. Ready to learn what it takes to go from good to great? Let's dive in. Jim Collins begins by acknowledging the widespread belief that good is the enemy of great. Many companies, he asserts, are content to remain merely good because greatness seems elusive or unnecessary. The book's central aim is to determine what distinguishes companies that make the leap to greatness from those that don't. Through an intensive study of 28 companies over 30 years, Collins and his team identified key factors that enabled a subset of these companies to transition from being good to great. Collins's research team started by selecting a sample of publicly traded companies that experienced a significant improvement in performance, measured by stock market returns, sustained over at least 15 years. The research team sought to identify specific strategies, practices, and behaviors that differentiated the great companies from the merely good ones. First up, Level 5 leadership. Collins describes Level 5 leaders as modest, humble, but highly driven for the success of their company, not their own ego. Level 5 leaders blend personal humility with fierce resolve, focused entirely on the company's success. Think of a leader who's not afraid to credit the team but always takes personal responsibility when things go wrong. It's the opposite of the superstar CEO. These leaders quietly work to build long-lasting greatness. Level 5 leaders channel their ego away from themselves to focus on the larger goal of creating a great company. The next principle is first who, then what. Instead of deciding where to go and then finding people, these companies focus first on getting the right people on the bus and the wrong people off the bus. Once you have the right team, they'll help you determine the best direction. This goes against the idea of setting a vision first. It's all about starting with the right people who share your values and are aligned with your goals. To become great, companies must confront the brutal facts. This means being brutally honest about your company's situation without losing faith in the possibility of greatness. Collins calls this the Stockdale paradox, named after Admiral James Stockdale, a Vietnam War POW who survived by maintaining faith that he would prevail, while simultaneously confronting the brutal facts of his situation. Retain faith that you will prevail in the end, regardless of the difficulties. And at the same time, confront the most brutal facts of your current reality. By facing the facts head-on, these companies are better prepared to adapt and succeed. Next we have the hedgehog concept, which is all about focusing on what you can be the best at. Collins uses the metaphor of a hedgehog, which knows how to do one thing very well: protect itself. He suggests companies should find their hedgehog concept by answering 3 questions. 1. What are you deeply passionate about? 2. What can you be the best in the world at? 3. What drives your economic engine? When a company aligns these 3, they find their focus. It's about sticking to a simple, clear path rather than chasing every opportunity. A culture of discipline. A key trait of great companies is a culture of discipline. Collins explains that disciplined people who engage in disciplined thought and take disciplined action will succeed. It's not about micromanaging, but about giving freedom within a well-defined framework. When employees have autonomy within a structured environment, they're more productive and motivated to stay on course. Concept 6. Technology accelerators. Interestingly, Collins found that technology itself doesn't make a company great. Instead, great companies use technology as an accelerator, not a creator of momentum. They identify tech that can advance their hedgehog concept rather than chasing every shiny new trend. By focusing on tech that serves their core strengths, these companies avoid distraction and enhance what they already do best. Concept 7. The flywheel effect and the doom loop. The final principle is the flywheel effect. Great companies build momentum gradually, like turning a giant flywheel. Each action builds on the previous ones, creating unstoppable progress over time. In contrast, companies in the doom loop constantly switch strategies, trying to make quick fixes, which disrupts momentum and stalls growth. Good to great companies trust the process, building momentum through consistent, aligned action. Case studies. Nucor, a steel manufacturer, serves as an example of disciplined leadership and focus on its hedgehog concept. Under the leadership of Ken Iverson, Nucor became the lowest-cost steel producer in the United States by focusing on simplicity, efficiency, and a decentralized organizational structure. Iverson embodied Level 5 leadership, fostering a culture of discipline and long-term thinking. Wells Fargo, a banking company, made the leap to greatness by focusing on cost-cutting and efficiency during a period when most banks were expanding rapidly. Wells Fargo embraced the hedgehog concept by focusing on what it could do better than any other bank: low-cost, no-frills banking. The company built a culture of discipline and embraced difficult decisions, including large-scale layoffs, to ensure its long-term success. Circuit City provides a contrast between good and great companies. Initially, Circuit City was one of the best-performing companies in the retail electronics sector, and it followed many of the principles in Good to Great. However, the company later fell into the doom loop when it lost focus on its core strengths and tried to diversify into areas where it lacked expertise, ultimately leading to its decline. Kimberly-Clark, a paper products company, made a bold decision to sell off its core paper mills and focus on its consumer brands like Kleenex and Huggies. This decision was driven by the company's hedgehog concept and the willingness to confront brutal facts about the future of the paper industry. Under the leadership of Darwin Smith, a Level 5 leader, Kimberly-Clark outperformed its competitors and became a dominant player in the consumer goods industry. Conclusions and takeaways. Jim Collins concludes Good to Great by emphasizing that greatness is not a function of circumstance but of conscious choice and discipline. Any organization, he argues, can make the leap from good to great by following the principles uncovered in the research. The transition is not easy, and it requires patience, discipline, and a long-term perspective. But the rewards of greatness, both for the organization and for society at large, are well worth the effort. The book's insights have been applied not only to business but also to nonprofit organizations, educational institutions, and even personal development. Ultimately, Good to Great provides a roadmap for anyone seeking to move from mediocrity to excellence, whether in business or in life. Collins, Jim. Good to Great: Why Some Companies Make the Leap, and Others Don't. Harper Business, 2001. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this summary, don't forget to like and subscribe for more leadership insights.